Amazing. Now, what about reading the inserts over the years? I mean, I just know going back 5, 6 years ago, they were saying, if you're a pregnant mother, don't vaccinate. Now they're saying, oh, no, that's the group that really needs it. How have they done a 180?
You know, it's interesting, Alex. I was at a vaccine conference in Washington, D.C. in March of 2004. It was the first international neonatal conference, and I remember this like it was a minute ago, because they were talking at that point in time about how were they possibly going to be able to start vaccinating pregnant women with the flu shot, because what they were going to have to do was somehow manipulate the data and be able to get the fetus on the vaccine injury compensation table in case there was something that happened. And there were many people in that audience who were doctors and researchers and representatives from the pharmaceutical industry saying, no, all we have to do is just give it. And because if it turns out that they have a miscarriage, well, they can't prove it was the vaccine. That was in 2004. And they've just moved it forward, and they've used fear factors, and they've somehow co-opted the brains of the obstetricians to say that, you know, you have to give these women flu shots. And it doesn't. And this year, they're not even going to be concerned whether or not they give the pregnant women flu shots with or without the mercury, because they keep loading up the medical literature with what, in my opinion, is tainted, twisted data in order to say the mercury doesn't cause brain damage, mercury doesn't cause any issues, and so we can go ahead and give a mercury-laden flu shot to a mother because it's not going to bother anything. It's not going to cause any problem. And somehow we've got the medical industry who's bought into that. All of them.
Well, of course they have, because they're paid off by it. The American Medical Association, I mean, even the European Union Commission found that their medical commissions, the British Medical Commission, the Canadian, our medical commissions, are literally run by people that also work for the vaccine makers.
Well, that's absolutely true. But, Alex, when you think about it, there's 800,000 physicians in this country. How did they co-opt every single one of their brains?
Hey, if they admit that there's evil people running the medical professions on the top, then they'll have to have responsibilities. And so they get more money. They get little bonuses for the more vaccines they give. They've got a mistress they got to visit. They got a golf game they got to visit. And when they give the little baby the shot and it has a convulsion, they just say, I didn't cause that. They've hurt so many children that they're too weak-minded to admit what they've done. And so now the bioethics boards say, send the old lady home to die. We're not going to give her surgery. The doctors go, yeah. After Bill Gates says it's good to kill one old lady for 10 jobs for teachers. See, I mean, they don't give the Hippocratic Oath anymore, as you know, Doc. So, what, 15 years or so? So, hey, you know, the new oath is do harm, kill granny, kill baby. Bill Gates, it's for the earth. We'll be back with some of the documents. We'll be right back with Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. Stay with us. These people are being exposed. They're getting sued. They're losing the lawsuits. I believe that vaccine science, if it was properly done, does hold some promise. The problem is I have all the documents from the Rockefeller Foundation in the 20s saying we'll use vaccines to give people cancer, then we'll own the anti-cancer companies and treatments. We'll make money. That's up on InfoWars and Prison Planet. We'll sterilize people through vaccines, but we can't have them noticed, so it'll only sterilize a certain number. It'll be a weak sterilization. I've got all those documents. I'm going to show some here in a moment. But Sherry Tenpenny's video is now done. It's been manufactured, high production quality. It is flu and flu vaccines, what's coming through the needle, 2 DVD set. You can now order it. It'll be shipping out in about a week. You can now order it. It's done. It's been mass-produced. We're going to be carrying it at Infowars.com. In fact, it's going up on the site right now on the shopping cart. You can order it at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com and show it to your friends, your family, your neighbors. You can email Dr. Tenpenny and tell them about what access station you want to air it, and she'll give you authorization on a case-by-case. But again, flu and flu vaccines, what's coming through the needle. This is the latest up-to-date as a truth weapon to fight these people. So get it at Infowars.com and get it out to everyone you know. Now, Dr. Tenpenny, I know you go off the government's own documents. You go off their own admissions. But I want to bring this subject up now at the end of this segment and the short segment coming up. We'll have you back up very soon and hopefully play some clips of the film here on air. But let me have a document cam shot, guys. Rockefeller Foundation and WHO continue collaboration on sterilization vaccines and implantables. And then it's got links to the Rockefeller and World Health Organization admissions, how they developed these systems. Here's another article. Rockefeller Foundation conceptualized anti-hormone vaccine in the 20s and 30s, reports reveal. Then in '68, they developed it. We have that report. Millions of Chinese oppose mass vaccination plan or saying no to the UN trying to vaccinate them in China. Navy to test its ability to vaccinate masses in a pandemic. It just goes on and on. You've got the German government and others refusing to take their own vaccines getting caught. That's one reason people got upset. Secretive executive order establishes Big Brother health bureaucracy. Sherry, I don't know if you've researched the eugenics angle, because I know you just cover what you can absolutely prove, but it's provable that there's a huge agenda to hurt people with the vaccines.
There's no doubt that at some level there absolutely is an agenda. I always go back, Alex, I always like to use Enron as an example. You know, you've got those 8 people at the top that imploded two major corporations. And I think that there were a lot of people that worked for Enron that sat around in their cubicles and just did their job and went home to their soccer matches with their families, and they had no idea what was going on. I think the pharmaceutical industry in particular, in general, and the vaccine industry in specific, it's the same thing. There are people who are plotting and planning and knowing all of these things, but the public health nurse down at the lowest rung just thinks she's doing a good job.
And that's why we've got to get your new 2-DVD film from a medical perspective with all the proof that's come out about this stuff being deadly, and we've got to get it to nurses and doctors now because they're compartmentalized.
Yep, exactly. You're absolutely right. I'll help you any way I can.
Well, we're very excited that we're now carrying the DVD at Infowars.com. Flu and vaccine, what's coming through the needle. From a medical perspective, all documented. This has got to be gotten out to everyone. Sherry, stay there. I want to do 5 more minutes with you on this key subject. And then we've got Bob Chapman coming up on the economy. Stay with us. Final segment with Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. Her new documentary, just out, Flu and Flu Vaccines, What's Coming Through the Needle, 2-DVD set. It is a life and death situation to get this out to medical workers, to nurses, to doctors. Sherry, in closing, I think the biggest issue here is they've been exposed to be involved in fraud. They know these vaccines are hurting people. We know the cost-benefit analysis. There's a lot more cost than supposed benefit. And now they tried in Massachusetts and New York to forcibly inoculate medical workers, police, and others. They rebelled and said no, but many got intimidated into it. Now they're back, you said earlier, covertly over 50 major medical institutions that own huge chains of hospitals saying, you've got to take this if you work here. That is so dangerous. So from what you're saying, they are implementing forced vaccination through stealth, and if they can make the medical workers submit, they're going to be primed to make us submit to forced inoculation. So we've got to stand behind them.
That sums it up, Alex. And I've said for years is that all of the vaccine industry is the backbone of the pharmaceutical industry. If we can inject all of these kids with now what amounts to 40 doses of 16 different vaccines, 40 doses of 16 different vaccines by the time they start kindergarten and get them sick with asthma, allergies, headaches, and on, we can now make them customers for life. And if we pull the vaccine industry out by at least 50%, if not 100%, at least 50%, we would drop the incidence of illness and the cost of health care in this country like a rock. And
that's what mountains of admitted documentation shows. You've got it all on your website from the government's own research worldwide, different governments and institutions. But we saw it last year. Record low numbers of seasonal and H1N1 globally. People refused. Record low flu season. Record low deaths. How many of you know somebody or you took the flu shot and almost killed your butt? I mean, but that's anecdotal. We have the statistics. We know. I'm speechless, Sherry. Closing comments on or any other issues you haven't covered?
No, I think that the most important thing is to get the DVD, get it from InfoWars, get it from us, get it out there to all of your friends and family. It is one of the most important works that I think I've ever done. And it took me 120 hours of research just to put the DVD together. It took me 120 hours to put the DVD and the material together. It took me thousands of hours to research it, to get all the information.
And I'm glad we did this because 6-8 months ago or more, I sent Rob Dew and others to interview you for my eugenics film, And this film I've been working on for 2 years. It's not going to be out till next year now, but it's the masterwork on everything. It's like an encyclopedia of their crimes. So I'm glad to hear that you were telling me during the break, because we screwed around and didn't get it out. You've gone out and gotten one out, and it looks extremely powerful. I mean, it's up to the listeners, though, to get this out to everybody.
It really is. It's everything you want to know, from manufacturing to what's in the needle to all of the statistics that Alex and I have spoken about over the last hour. It's all there. All you need to do is just spread the word.
Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, we're awake now. We're there reporting on the deaths and the epilepsy. 1 minute left. England has suspended the shot in under fives. They admit, the government, a 10-fold increase in violent convulsions in healthy children. That's a big thing to have them admit that.
It is a big thing, but keep in mind, Alex, that was just one flu shot. That's Afluria. There are 8 different manufactured brands out there. They just suspended it in just one flu shot. They didn't suspend it in all children for all flu shots, just children under the age of 5 for Afluria. So that brings back to the point. There are 8 different manufactured flu shots. They all have different side effect profiles, and they all have different ingredients. You must not let this stuff be injected into your body.
And I had the head of the British Medical Journal on, and she said, yes, it's all a fraud. I mean, this is amazing how far we've come, and they're really getting desperate now, trying to use this pertussis thing in California to hype forced inoculation. Doc, God bless you. We'll talk to you again very soon.
Thank you very much, Alex. You have a great afternoon.